Okay, next up, let's take a peek at the steering wheel. So a couple things to point out. Starting off on our left-hand side, we do have our volume rocker, so we can go up in order to increase the volume, or move that down in order to decrease. We can change songs or change stations by moving this rocker left or right. Now, a couple things to point out. This specific vehicle does not have the adaptive cruise control. It is available, though, throughout the Corsair lineup. Now, if we had the adaptive cruise control, we would have some different buttons. By turning the regular cruise control or the adaptive, as you can see, we have buttons that show up or they hide, just depending on what's currently going on. So we know that cruise control is enabled. We can set it along the back, so we can set it at whatever speed we'd like, and then along the right-hand side, we can either resume or cancel. So this is the regular cruise control. With the adaptive, it's a set it and forget it cruise control. We'd have a lot more flexibility and a lot more options. Turning that off just by pressing the button again. Off to our right-hand side now, a lot of different options that are available there. We can go to the right in order to make a phone call. Going to the left is going to give us the option, as you can see there, to change between our active sources. So our AM, FM, Sirius XM, if our phone was connected, it would show up there. Pressing back, and we can also have a hotkey in order to get to our navigation. So as you can see there, we can look at previous destinations, point of interest. Now it's one of these things that you can see there, as we start to move this rocker up and down side to side, certain things show up and certain things hide, which is really, really nice because it gives us a lot of flexibility as to what's currently going on, and it lets us know what you can currently do as well. Pressing this button, what that's going to do is give us a few options along the side. So we can press that in order to look at our fuel economy, tire pressure, calming screen, and a few others. And then as we can see there, we also do have a basic settings button. So we press down in order to look at either our display setup or our oil life. So as we go to our display setup, we can show what's currently going to show up there. So we've got our basic information screens. If we want the speedometer to go there, we can have our tachometer in the view as well, which is going to show up. Actually, I'll show you what that looks like. Let's go home for a second. And all of a sudden, we've got our speedometer on the right and our tachometer on the left. Moving back down into our basic settings, and we can go to our display setup again, our eco coaching, border crossing as well. So as you can see on the right side, we have the miles per hour and the kilometers per hour shown, or we can hide that, pressing the home button to back out to the default again. Now, one other button to point out on the steering wheel is this one. That's going to be our hot button in order to use the voice-activated features. So voice-activated, we can do voice-activated navigation, we can make phone calls, we can change the radio station, and a number of other things just by pressing this button. Now, as you start to move in a little bit, just along our left-hand side, we have the minus and then the plus. So that's going to give us better control over what gear we're in as we're driving. Along our left stick, so that's going to be the one for our blinkers. So the left-right blinker, push away in order to turn on or pulled in towards us for the high beams. And then right on the very end of it, so we do have our lane keeping system. So we can turn that lane keeping system on or off by pressing that button. We know the system's on because we have those bowling lanes that show up. So the system itself, it's going to turn on at, so the system itself is actually going to turn on at any speed, but it doesn't actually become active until you hit about 62 kilometers an hour. Once you hit that speed, you're going to notice that those lanes go green, and that lets you know that the lane keeping system is now active. Moving along our right-hand stick. So this vehicle is equipped with rain sensing wipers. So we do have the ability to control how sensitive it is. Along our right-hand side, we've got the ability to turn on our rear wiper.